Good evening, you beautiful people. Welcome back to another video. It's Stephen here at very late, 11:15 on a Tuesday evening because I had to go live because of Guardiola. So yeah, I was a little bit late to this news because of very good reason. I was actually at a documentary pretty much about Guardiola. That's why I missed it. I got back about 40 minutes ago. I needed to do some minor house stuff before I could go live. Tonight I was out live at the premiere of the documentary, the new film Together, about City winning 4 in a row, which goes live tomorrow. So I was there. I had absolutely no idea that this news was breaking. Got a text from a mate saying, I presume they must have mentioned it during the documentary, hence why it's come out. I was like, nope, no one mentioned it at all at the screening. So that was genuine news from Sam Lee there. It's come out that looks like Guardiola is going to sign the new contract. Of course, I had to be away during that. Of course I was. I'd recommend the documentary, by the way. Really, really good stuff. Fantastic fun. It's a 90-minute film, not necessarily a series this time. One 90-minute film, and he focuses on the why City got there, not how they got there, if that makes sense. What the motivation is and all that kind of stuff. And I tell you the reason City got there, in my humble opinion, to win 4 in a row after watching that film. It's because of the man that we're talking about today, Josep Guardiola Sala. That man absolutely is the driving force behind Manchester City Football Club, the genius, the heartbeat, the charisma, the wonder at the heart of a wonderful club. Genuinely, Guardiola absolutely phenomenal in that. I would recommend everyone watching it. The charisma that man has, always the biggest guy in a room full of giants, always knows exactly when to shout and knows exactly when to console, when to lift up, when to pull down, when to be aggressive, when to be calm, when to intimidate almost, and when just to let that raw magnetism that he's got speak for itself. A phenomenal man, and now a man hopefully that will stay a little bit longer. This video is sponsored, by the way, by the wonderful people over at Football Prizes. If you want to win 2 hospitality tickets to see Man City take on Forest on the 4th of December, hopefully the new deal will be announced by then, a couple of weeks away. Head over to Football Prizes right now. Hospitality tickets to watch City play at home against Forest. It should be absolutely wonderful. Only 65 tickets are available, $9.95, and there's already half of them sold, so get involved. 29 tickets left for a tenner you could win. Your odds are good there, by the way. 1 in 65 is high. Get two in. Your odds are like 2 in 65, which is 2 in 32 or something. 1 in 32. Good luck. Enter it if you want to. Fingers crossed when you guys win. Click the link in the description to get involved and win, hopefully, hospitality tickets to City versus Forest. And Guardiola hopefully will sign his new deal then. So let's talk more about this news. I'll go over to Sam Lee's article, Manchester City correspondent for The Athletic, who said, Man City manager Guardiola has agreed a new 1-year contract extension with the option of an additional year. The 53-year-old's existing City deal was due to expire at the end of the season, and if the new terms are fulfilled, it would take Guardiola to over a decade in charge of the club. An official announcement confirming the new contract is expected in the coming days. The Athletic has contacted City for comment. It's been suggested that Guardiola may leave City at the end of the campaign. This is all just basically filler. Then this is analysis here. Sam says this changes the narrative around City quite significantly. Do you know what? Before I go into all that, I want to give you my thoughts. So it just doesn't look like I'm copying what Sam Lee said entirely, because I feel like it's just probably I want to get my thoughts in, then I'll read Sam's, so you don't just confuse me. Just mimicking other people's thoughts. So basically, I have not read anything on the internet about this at all. As I said, I went to the screening of the documentary, got out to see a text from a mate, got in the car, drove home, helped Nicola at home with some stuff, then went live. So my thoughts are very much my own thoughts here, and they are unfiltered. There's a toy there, Ruben's going off, so I'll move that out of the way. I feel like I'm in a good place to talk about it, because I've just watched that documentary that features the genius of Guardiola so intensely, and he shows you how he was the driving force behind 4 in a row. A man that knows how to say the right words pretty much always. He's not perfect, and he said himself during the documentary, which you'll see, that occasionally he makes mistakes, or maybe he goes too hard on certain plays at certain moments, and he feels like he maybe should be a little bit gentler, and he's not proud of it always. But this is the point. This is a man with humility. This is a man with self-awareness, an insatiable, almost inhuman desire to win. I can't relate to that, and the chances are that you watching can't relate to it either. Maybe we do. Maybe you do have that desire, but I don't think we are born winners in the way that Guardiola is. Some people are born just to win. Some people are put on this earth and they will succeed at anything they try and do because they are the perfect combination of smart, very fucking smart, and also very fucking brilliant and hardworking. Guardiola is that. He's that. He is charismatic. He is insanely intelligent. He's always thinking ahead of the game. So he has foresight and hindsight and people skills. A savant-like understanding of football. He sees everything at once. He's already planned out his opposition's move before it happens. It's one of those things where Guardiola, there is a single flaw, I would argue, to his managerial game. You could try and find it, but it'd be stupid. Guardiola wins more than anyone else for a reason, because he is absolutely the best manager in world football. His intensity is absolutely absurd. There is no reason Guardiola should still be as driven as he is, given the fact that he's the most comfortable man in football. You know, anyone would sign him. Anyone wants Guardiola as a manager. He's an absolute, I don't know, he'd probably be a billionaire by the time his career is done. I don't even know. He's rich beyond his wildest dreams. You know, he can go anywhere. He manages teams that win title after title after title after title. Yet still, he isn't stale. Still, he wants new challenges. Still, he finds a way to motivate himself, and that is electric. That is magnetic. You know, he does drag you along with him. And that's the thing about Guardiola. He is a magnet, man. And if you're attracted to what Guardiola does, if you're not, you're going to push the other way. You're going to disappear. Guardiola is absolutely magnetic to those who have a fascination or are interested in anything he wants to do. And he attracts winners. Guardiola does attract winners. He attracts success and trophies. And, you know, the funny thing about magnets is that they stick to metal. And guess what? Guardiola's pretty good at scooping up trophy after trophy after trophy. And this is it. I am buzzing about this news. I think it's wonderful. When you look at the timing of this as well, City off the back of 4 losses in a row. I do agree with Guardiola that this isn't his team. I do agree with Guardiola that it's circumstantial and that there has been signs actually even in those 4 games, and especially now the dust has settled a little bit. You know, it's been just over a week, of course, since all those losses, so we've had a bit of time to think, and I personally stepped away from the content a little bit. I had stuff going on personally, so I've had a little bit of perspective step away, and you know, time is always kind, and time is a healer, so to speak. And I do think right now this news would be a wonderful boon for the club. Like Guardiola to say, I'm staying. I don't give a fuck if we lost 4 in a row. I don't give a fuck about all that stuff. It's all noise to me. I want to be here and I want to win the league. And to me, that is a signal of intent. And I really do hope now that the players take this, you know, and I'm sure they will do. And I'm sure, you know, 2 weeks on the training ground will be absolutely huge for Manchester City, especially with some players returning to fitness, some players, you know, looking for their own motivation. Is there any better signal, you know, that they're in this to win than Guardiola staying, you know? And I do think, unfortunately, you know, the very nature of Guardiola's detachment from his contract, his talks, and how he said it'll happen when it happens, blah, blah, blah. You know, it does create uncertainty. Of course it does. That's not to say he's did anything wrong, but happy birthday, Daniel Norman, by the way. Nice birthday present for you there, pal. But yeah, it does naturally create hesitancy, and sometimes, look, I think Guardiola's aware of this, and it's not his fault as such, because it's just a coincidence, but when all isn't well and some of your leaders aren't there and you're in a bad slump, you look to your manager. That is his job. And if you look at a manager, the manager hasn't even committed himself and you don't know if he's going to be there 6 months from now or whatever, that naturally creates uncertainty, you know? So it's one of those things where you can't deny that while you're winning, it's not a problem. But when you're losing, it hangs over you. And it is that fickle. And you can't escape that. So this right now is perfect news. It's absolutely perfect news. And as Rodgers just in the chat just pointed out, you know, what are the rival fans thinking? But they're devastated. Of course they are. Like, there's a crushing inevitability about Guardiola sides, how they always find a new way to win. They are relentless. And it is because of Pep Guardiola. He is the heartbeat, you know, of this Manchester City side, the totem, the star, I would argue, of City's glorious years. And I do think he'll get a statue, if not more, you know, when he finally leaves. And I do think that we get the fact that we're getting a decade of Guardiola. Look, presume as well that everything goes well with the charges and it will clear, which I think will happen in the end. Presume it does. Then what you leave is 10 years of Guardiola. And there's an option to extend, by the way, of course. But just to presume he'll do 10 years. And hopefully it goes longer. But I wouldn't be surprised if he does 10 years and rides off into the sunset gloriously. That is a legacy, 10 years. A decade absolutely is. And I did say, actually, in a chat to someone online, a famous tactical journalist who got a bit snipey with me, saying that there's no appeal for 10 years, it's just a number. There is an appeal for 10 years in football. 10 years, people like round numbers. Humans are drawn to landmarks and legacies and all that kind of stuff. It's why they want to break records. And I think there's something about 10 years in football that absolutely is something to aim for. We know the value of testimonials. We know how much 10 years is in football, because football is such a short career in general. And to do 10 years as a manager at one club, that's a legacy. That's a legacy. Guardiola will leave as the most influential person probably in the history of Manchester City Football Club when you look at what he's achieved and where he's taken the club. Not the most important, but maybe the most influential. He probably absolutely will do. And I don't think that's controversial at all, what he's done, what he's achieved, the records that he's broken, phenomenal. Pete with the super chat says, let me just sort the editing out a bit there, Pete. Says, great for the club and the fan base. Absolutely, my friend. Wonderful news for the club and the fan base. And I'm more than buzzing. Yeah, I'm delighted, mate. Look, he's an absolute genius, isn't he? It changes everything for City. It really does. Thank you so much, Pete. The noisy boys are in the chat. Love you saying you love you, Steve McInerney. Love you, Mulv. Love you, Joey. I'm going to presume that's Mulv. Either way, maybe there's a shared bank account between the lads. Thank you so much for the super chat, you beautiful people. I want to have a pint with you guys. Just come to Manchester and we can have a pint properly together. It'd be great. We really need to do it all properly. I want a night out with the noisy neighbours. I really do. Thank you so much for the super chat. I'm genuinely delighted about this. So I know I don't seem like I'm jumping around. It's because I've got the family asleep downstairs and I've had a little bit of time to digest it. So it's not like ricocheting around my head right now. It's calm. But I don't think we need to put into words. I don't think it's hard to put into words just how much this is a massive day. It absolutely is. There is something to be said for your leader. You're great. Sign your contract now. After 4 losses, it's a statement of intent. It's Pep's lie in the sand moment. And the thing about it, I like about it, is that I don't think Pep even knew until now. I think he has been on the fence and he decided during his international break. Maybe he'd sort of knew for the last month or so, but I think this is when he's made his decision. And what I like about it is that anything that makes Pep think forward and get really serious, like he knows now, not that he wouldn't know previously, but he knows now these players he's working with now are going to be working with him next year. So he's got a long way to look forward. And when he's got that much time to look forward, he's going to make life easier for himself. He's going to want players. He's going to want signings. He's going to try and improve certain players because he's going to be there to see the fruits of that labour, And not that Guardiola would ever be unprofessional, but can you care as much if you think you're leaving in 6 months? Can you really? Can you really care as much? Can anyone care as much? 1% is everything in football. You can change everything. So I don't think. I think naturally it would have dipped a little bit. So I do think when Guardiola's going to be here longer, it makes a massive difference. It absolutely does make a massive difference. I need to get the super chat up, by the way. Where is it? Get on the screen from the noisy lad. Says, love you, Steve McInerney. Oh, guys, you're absolute legends, honestly. Thank you so much. It's really kind. You paid my parking for that screening tonight, so thank you very much. Obviously, if you haven't already, go check out Noisy Neighbours on all good podcast services. Probably some crap podcast services too. I don't know where they put it on. And of course, they've got a little YouTube channel there. Click that and subscribe it as well. The legends, those two. Yeah, and get the likes up on the video as well. Look, I wish I'd gone live 2 hours ago, but I just didn't have a chance because I was out. Of course, there'll be more stuff to reflect on this over the next day or two. It is huge news. I'm genuinely delighted. Pep, to me, this puts us as favourites to win the league. It's that simple. It's genuinely that simple. And I do hope that they use this chance now to back Pep in the transfer market in January. I want them to go... oops, I really probably should... 1 second, that looks a bit crazy on screen, doesn't it? Oops. I forgot to edit it off there. There you go. Oops, there you go. That's better. We've got to back Guardiola in January now. We have to. We absolutely have to. Did anyone in the Premier mention to any City staff? Don't know, mate. Forms. But Sam Lee wasn't there. I mean, I'm sure someone will know, but maybe that's how it's got out. I did see a couple of journalists leave, though, or very much move, so... maybe they were getting, maybe they heard a heads up, but it wasn't the word going around for what I could sell. Fran Soriano was there, so he probably told someone. Almost certainly he would done, and maybe someone's overheard. The Four in the Road doc, yeah, it's David Hartley was the Four in the Road doc. Really good, by the way, good fun. It's a film. It's a 190-minute film, and it talks more about the stories behind the season as opposed to the actual, how it happened. It's more why it happened, if that makes sense. There's a really good line in the documentary from Fran Soriano, actually, where he says the options are it's win or learn. That's it. If you win, you win. You don't learn anything. You learn if you lose. And that's how City see it, which is ultimately the sign of winners and what they do. So it's great. Definitely would recommend it. But yeah, I'm buzzing about this. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's great news. I'm not going to leave it much longer because, of course, it's very late and I have to get to bed and I'm going to wake the family up. But this is great news. Yeah, wonderful stuff. Love your noisy neighbours, lads. Love you, Pete Shepherd. Thank you so much. Love you all for watching. You're all legends. Guardiola is going to stay. Well, it's not confirmed until it's confirmed. I hope it is for Sam Lee's sake because he's gone big on that one. But I'm buzzing. Absolutely buzzing. In a bit, guys. Good night. Up the Blues.